Malphite. You're on an Ornn if he's sticking on the tanks so that he is starting fights for Weibo. We are here into Game 5's draft. Let's see how things shape up, as the very standard bans we've been seeing across this series remain pretty consistent. The Rel, the Sejuani, the Vi, all gone. Looking at things like the LeBlanc, the Kai'Sa from LNG to also be taken off the table.
This is the thing, LeBlanc, Kai'Sa, Tristana, Jace, Maokai, all of a sudden we're looking at a huge, the Xayah, huge amount of kind of priorities that have been kind of shifted here, whereas jungle is getting to the forefront. People are saying, they're going back off it. You know what? It's nothing to do with these mid lane picks. It's to do with the enabling of these junglers. So the Sejuani, the Rel, the Maokai, and the Vi all being taken away just shows you how influential Tarzan and Weiwei have been to their team's success.
Yeah, respectively. Both teams have been, or both junglers have been the driving force of the teams. Now, this does mean, you know, Tristana, Xayah, Kai'Sa, those are the first three on my mind, and of course, the Jace, the Azir. These picks have been critical to success for both sides. What will they do about them? Kai'Sa, it feels like you have to ban it, right? As LNG, do you really want to give it to Light? Or do you kind of like throw down this gauntlet and say, all right, do you want the Azir or the Jace more? Either way, we'll get the other side of that, right? That could also be the trade. Let's see what they end up doing, of course, as well, the LeBlanc, right? Maybe you remove the LeBlanc from the equation. No, you remove the Kai'Sa. So what do Weibo do now? Do they want the LeBlanc that's up? Do they want to take away the Jace out of Scout's hands? These are all questions on Weibo's mind that they're certainly pondering right now as we approach that first pick.
Looks like Weibo want to go towards the Tristana, despite Xiao, who having a pretty abysmal start to the last game he played on it. It is something that he was able to kind of have massive impact in later on in the game once he was able to get up to those 2-3 item thresholds. Now you're looking at LNG and where they want to try and bring this one here. Again, they could completely flip the script and go something completely off the back wall and say, look, we want to get our 80 carry going so that we know that Light will end up having, you know, either the Tristana or something that's not going to have that kind of lane priority.
Varus Jace, is this going to be the rotation out here from LNG? Like you say, right, Varus can secure lane priority. Jace should be relatively fine into the Tristana matchup as well. And if that is it for LNG, I feel like they'll be really happy with this rotation. Let's see what they do though. Or whether it's going to be something entirely out of left field and a pick for Tarzan if they feel like the pool is going to be pinched a little bit too hard. Could also be a thing as
I love this
rotation.
that,
I don't know how much I would like it personally. I feel like just hold on to the counter pick. Even if, you know, you end up having it taken out of your hands, at the end of the day, you should almost always end up in a positive matchup. So it's the Nautilus instead blind. Weibo, honestly, something like Ivern Braum wouldn't be too bad if you're happy to play defensively, but then you need agency out of the top side of the map, right? Or from your AD carry pick. Let's see what they end up doing. As I don't feel like the Ivern was necessarily a bad pick. I feel like that the picks around the Ivern after the fact ended up not really enabling it to be as oppressive as it often likes to be. But Tristana being on the board does mean double AD carry is up on offer, and Ivern with the rework since then has been particularly powerful at buffing those AD carries up just because the shield lasts so long if the pop doesn't actually hit anyone. So it means that things like Ardent can stay on it for a lot longer if you end up at the 3 item mark. Is it going to be Crisp on this Leona to try and just kind of counter out that Nautilus inside the lane? It will be. So engage there for Weibo, and that's good because that's what we've been calling for all series long, just ensuring they always have agency tools. And at the very least, they will have that Leona on deck. And now LNG have the opportunity to either secure the jungle matchup or go towards the Jace. They do neither because they want this Jax. And then that should just say to me that they're going to ban away 2 champions from the Shy and just put him on as an uncomfortable a matchup as possible.
Yeah, and even we saw up there before that the Cassante is something they don't even necessarily have to ban. The Rumble, maybe even the Renekton, if they're really worried about it, are things that they could get rid of. But honestly, I feel like this Jax pick is just, it's so powerful at just dealing with what the Shy wants to do and wants to, because again, he just wants to relax, take, you know, kind of soak it all in. But this Jax just puts him under such immense pressure. He's just not going to be able to be allowed to do that. So we'll see Weibo banning away the LeBlanc as mid laners have kind of for the first time this series moved themselves all the way down. And we will be seeing the Shy on something relatively new. He's not going to get the Cassante this game.
Nope, won't have the Cassante this game. So what will it be for the Shy? Is it going to be just the flat out Renekton? You know you're going to, you know, maybe have an okay time in lane, but then get outscaled. Do you have something else up your sleeve? Malphite, maybe? I mean, we've been calling for these, like, Malphite is good into Jax. It kind of nullifies it. Poppy as well, another pick where, you know, whilst you might necessarily lack the general agency to start fights, your ability to turn fights around is very, very powerful. Weibo straight away from this Jace ban, going towards Ahri and LeBlanc, perhaps fearing, you know, a very strong setup jungle duo between Tarzan and Scout. Scout, I imagine, has quite a few picks left up. And I mean, as Tarzan, this also works as a double takeaway, right? Because now the Shy can't potentially utilize it as a lane. Are they really going to go towards Azir? Okay.
Wow, okay.
Calling out the fact that they don't think that this Tristana is going to go towards the bottom side. They think it's Xiaohu's solely, and they're happy to just take away the Azir and ensure that Xiaohu won't have this pick. So now the Poppy was hovered. I imagine it just has to be picked up as this nullifying lane, right, for the Shy. Again, very surprised that Tarzan doesn't just take up the Poppy, but I feel like in LNG's mind, denying away the Azir is more important to them. Yeah. And you cannot blame Weibo, or LNG rather, given how powerful Xiaohu was on the pick at the very start of the series. As Poppy goes through, that'll be the Shy's pick, and now it's about revealing this Tristana, whether or not it will end up in Xiaohu's hands or Light's. I feel like either or. They're probably going to end up with Light finding an AD carry here, as Tristana in the mid lane into Azir feels like a very comfortable position to be in. As will it just be Zeri for the final game here for Light? Played it earlier on in the series, looked alright, to be fair, and it will be just that as now LNG search for the jungle pick for Tarzan.
Yeah, get that Zeri in. We've seen Light have some pretty damn good performances, even in the one they lost in game number 2 was only picked up I think with 1 or 2 deaths. So we'll see what LNG want to go for as their final pick. And they've been hovering around the Skarner and Zac for a while. I don't think they're going to either lock in either of them, to be perfectly honest, but we'll wait to see. They go for the Skarner. Right. Okay, so again, we're seeing the Skarner rear its head out now, as everyone will rush to Twitter to tag Captain Flowers in it. But another Skarner in 2 Skarners in as many days? That's rare.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to check the constellations. Something might be wrong at the minute with where the stars are in the sky. But LNG go towards this Skarner, and hey, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a couple of diving members between, you know, Crisp and the Shy who maybe could get caught out by this. And of course, if you're ever able to flash forward, pick up Light, pick up Xiaohu, it's huge. And there is that very funny interaction, and I'm gonna highlight it in case it happens, where if Xiaohu ults Skarner as the ultimate starts, he could just be sealing his own fate. Just gonna make that very, very apparent.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. It's quite funny, but it's also a little sad to see the Tristana just being dragged much further away than she wants to be. But yeah, look, right now, this is it. It's a best of 1. It's about how you perform in this game. Whatever happened before this, whatever momentum, whatever, you know, lingering thoughts may be in your mind, you have to get rid of them. This match is all that matters. That you have to take this with all the information you have in your mind to just make this one work. Both LNG and Weibo have been fighting tooth and nail to get themselves even just an opportunity at a top 4 spot. Double elimination, and again, another step closer to Worlds qualification. It's been grueling, it's been long, it's definitely not been clean, but my lord, has it been entertaining. We are coming into the ultimate game between both of these sides. Only one can go through to the double elim. The other will be waiting until that regional qualifier to see if they can get themselves back up into a world championship spot. We're going to jump into game number 5. We're going to leave it out there on the Rift. Winner takes all.
One game for the marbles of going to top 4 in the playoffs. Of course, championship points on offer for the regional qualifying seeding. Make one last approach onto Summoner's Rift Machine. It's been a tenuous, very, very meticulous series from both sides at times, but it's also been explosive. Let's see how this Game 5 unfolds as we slowly hit the Rift.
Gotta build that tension. You gotta build up this momentum, but we're gonna have the Gyos one last time in this series. The Weibo fans gotta give everything. Be that 6th man for your team. As we wait to see how either of these teams will start off in this final game. That was pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. The 2-2, it was pretty damn epic.
Alright, so fair amount to talk about in this game. Skarner is here. Spire's early gold on offer. Forget Jax's fishing. 15 gold for Gala and Scout, not bad.
It's game over.
Yeah, game over. Now, what was definitely a bit of a sad truth last game was because of the way that the matchups sat, there wasn't really a lot to play around in terms of, you know, the junglers. I feel like this game, the matchups specifically on the side lanes are volatile enough that we could see some early jungle action, even though both junglers, you know, in Tarzan's case, on the Skarner, you can find early angles if the laners are overextending, right? And it's a very similar deal for Weiwei, but you want the level 6 so that you've got that Impale to really kind of, you know, lock home any particular play. So we could just see, you know, some fast farming on both sides until that point. Wouldn't be too surprised, but again, you know, top side of the map, I think, is one where the Shy, you know, been calling for a different pick outside of the Cassante. Something with a little bit more, you know, mid-game agency to start up fights. Not necessarily that pick, but certainly in the 1v1 against the Jax. You can find some very easy advantages to manipulate. Level 2 hit here by Hong and Gala.
They're going to go in for some flash out of Crisp. Fortunate there for the Weibo bot side, but it is kind of the way. Ooh, that steadfast presence didn't come up in time. You can see Zika kind of go for it. We'll say, though, the Poppy doing very well to just trade back into it as Zika wants to go for round number 2. This is the thing, if you can get continuous little trade backs here, you'll see the Jax start to slowly but surely get an advantage, eke ahead in that health advantage, but Weiwei
I like this.
wants to...
Hold on.
Just checking, just checking.
He doesn't want Tarzan to, you know, get like a 3-camp clear into top side, so I don't blame him for going for that. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really cost Weiwei too much in the time in the department of time because he's already got that bottom side camp marked up. Knows it's not really going to get invaded. Zika trading very, very aggressively. So this is the thing with the Jax, you can kind of get up in the Poppy's face. Don't angle to get yourself stunned up into the wall.
Oh! Flash in!
Man.
Oh my lord! The leap strike, it was almost very well calculated, but Zika just playing the mind games right now and saying, cool, if I don't jump, you don't put up the steadfast presence, you still get stunned.
Exactly right, and the Shy, very fortunate. This is one thing about the Poppy. With that W up, the passive gives you so much extra resistances at those lower level thresholds, so Zika not able to find the lethal range there, but you can see the threat, right? As much as Poppy can take over the lane, if she finds, you know, 1 or 2 steadfast presences. As, oh, hello, Weiwei, locked up here.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and keep this fight going for the moment. Xiao, was the first one on the scene, as Gala makes his way up now as well. TP is going topside, so the Shy will have nothing to do with this particular fight as we end up
They don't want to give up the skull.
Yeah, they really want to try and keep this control because, I mean, the dragons, the first dragons of the game have been so key for every team that's won so far.
Exactly, and the skull will be secured by Tarzan. A little bit awkward. I think Weiwei smited the Krug, so he didn't have it up for that skull crab. Typically when you're playing Ivan, you want to try and hold on to that smite for at least 1 skull. Looks like he'll get the top one at the very least, so not the end of the world here as Scout actually trades back in. And the trade out looks fine. Shield comes in. Shahu will be able to just reposition. Tarzan's not going to make things awkward. Jungle is just kind of, you know, ships in the night to a point, putting down a little bit of damage. But nothing that's necessarily changing the lane too much as recalls will come through.
And feel the tension. Feel how important this is to either side. Not willing to give an inch, but knowing that if they do, they will be behind a mile. It's definitely been LNG favored in the early games so far this series. Definitely does feel like they want to try and continue that kind of trend. Maybe put some more pressure here down on top of Weibo. And this is the thing. All it takes is one bad mistake. We saw it in game number 1 with the Shy, game number 2 with the Shy. He's a caught out once and it led to a Baron, led to an Elder Drake, led to an end of game, 1-1. You know, these little things that kind of build up against you. Same thing happened to LNG in game number 3.
Exactly. And these kind of mistakes can't really happen in this game 5. Everything is pretty much on the line. Of course, you lose. You will have the chance still to go to Worlds through the regional qualifiers. I think that has to be something which is repeated if you're not familiar with the format and how championship points have lined up for our remaining teams in playoffs. But obviously, you want to go to top 4, give yourself the best chance at not only just the regional qualifiers, but still, you're competing for the LPL championship for summer. Just because JDG and BLG are in the top 2 already doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion, despite how strong they've looked, that they will be the ones that take it. Oh,
should be fine. It would be just Dragon confirmed here, but there are people converging on this spot right now. Weibo not willing to let this one go without a fight. The Azir off to the side. They are pushing back As Chris throws out the Zenith Blade, doesn't really get anything out of it. Gonna be flashed in on top of. They're gonna immediately say that's the go button, kill off the support, but he's still very tanky. First blood goes over. Double flash, almost in unison for both the Weibo jungler and mid laner as they look to get away from that Emperor's Divide. LNG with the dragon and with the first blood.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from LNG. They get everything they want out of this exchange. Pick off the target in front of them. Now, first dragon, like we said, been very important, these early dragons and how they've stacked up. Let's see if LNG can continue that snowball. Level 6 will come through for Tarzan relatively soon as well. But he's not going to have that ultimate with the flash, right? So a little bit less predictable, or more predictable rather, shall I say, on the engagers. But at the end of the day, still going to be walking away with a lead for now.
Come back in, and again, this is where the game gets a bit funky. Flashes are down, summoners are no longer available. We are starting to hit level 6s for people, so you can see already Gala and Hung recognizing something was amiss in this bot side. They were getting too much priority in this lane to push, and we can see it here. Scout just forcing this to be basically a 4v2 into a 4v2. Weibo could never get together.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. LNG just make the very quick decision to engage onto one of those twos, and double flashes forced out from Weiwei and Xiaohu by Scout. Light able to dash over the wall, so he's not a threat. Good execution overall by LNG, just to stave off the pressure that Weibo were trying to put down, but the split approach made it very easy for LNG to navigate. So very happy with the way the things play out, and now, you know, priority's kind of been in Zika's hands a majority of this lane, but the health advantage right now that the Shy finds himself in and this stacking wave could make things awkward for an immediate Herald startup. You can see on the side of Weibo, everyone's just reset. They're all running towards the mid lane or the top side of the map. They don't want to give up the Herald. LNG, let's see how they look to approach it, as they are also all pathing up here. So we could just have a congregation immediately of everyone on the Rift. But again, it's the top side where I'm kind of concerned. Zika actually evens out the health trade, pops the ult, actually.
I think he really wants to try and crash this wave. It's kind of put him in an awkward position as the rest of Weibo are pushing itself up. So he pops the ult to try and make something work there, but sadly for him, wasn't able to make anything else happen from it. And with this double Ruby Crystal means the Shy is fairly healthy this stage. Xiaohu's crept himself up to this top side of the brush. No ult on Hung, but neither does Chris. We are going to see all 5 members of Weibo moving down to try and contest for this dragon, or excuse me, for this Rift Herald. Well, Zika tries to keep it going. Zenith Blade lands. It's onto the jungler. They put down the Chain of Corruption. They're going to burn down Hung, but he gets his command. That's huge. Jungler for support is always worth here for Weibo. And they've got to maybe look to turn and burn back on top of this one here. They got to be careful, though. Still a Flash Emperor's Divide available for Scout.
Yeah, Scout can still look for this one, can't he? Herald's going to reset. Tarzan. We saw that interaction briefly, but just not between Xiaohu and Tarzan. It was Tarzan had Crisp ulted. Xiaohu almost confirmed Crisp's death even harder. Tarzan, however, was still bursted out, and it ends up being that 1-for-1 like we talked about. So Herald still on the map. Gala's going to go for a bit of a sneaky startup, but it should kind of just be dissuaded. No Daisy for Weiwei, though. This is the very crucial thing. Crisp is still also level 5 compared to Hung's level 6, so this LNG startup and contest should still look good. Weiwei scooped in.
Yeah, Weiwei scooped in, dead. Nothing he can really do about that one. Didn't have his flash anyway, so tried his absolute best. But again, these small mistakes are just plaguing Weibo. There's no need for him to be looking for that kind of an aggressive fight when nobody's around to support him.
Exactly. Just kind of pokes his head in way too far. He gets punished for it now. Herald in the back pocket of LNG. Gold lead a little bit under 1,000. Not the most important gold lead right now, but still one which will soon start to be felt once this Herald gets put down in particular, right? Start to get those first couple of item completions on top of it. Things will start to feel a little bit more suppressive on the side of Weibo. LNG, Dragon, 60 seconds time, you know they're going to look to contest that.
Weibo just need to make sure they don't lose too much. Again, it's a similar kind of style to how they lost that 4th game. Just kind of kept letting things happen against them. As you can see, the Shy going for a fight now as one ultimate has been used. Steadfast presence down, so Zika feels emboldened to leap strike in on top of him. It's a very close trade back. Gotta be careful here, Zika. The Shy is definitely someone who is very aware of the Poppy cooldowns and whatnot, so wait to see how they kind of bring it back up. And This is going to be Zika's opportunity potentially to maybe get himself a fight. Actually, it's the Shy looking for a little bit of a 1v1. And to get it over, does he want to flash? No, he doesn't. He already used the ultimate as well.
Exactly. So just disengage on both sides. Dragon up LNG on top of it first. Maybe Weibo can contest it, but I'm just not sure how comfortable it will be. LNG are going to drag this one out. Flash and Emperor's Device. Still available for Scout. Ultimate and Flash for Tarzan. That's where you're looking, right? What target can he pick up? Teleports in from top laners. Dragon dropping lower.
There we go. Dragon secured here by LNG, but the fight afterwards, the Shy TP'd in. Does he have enough presence to get into us? The flash away means that nobody's going to be caught out. Good solo player forces the cleanse out of Gala. Now the Shy looking to try and be aggressive onto this. Chris goes in with the Zenith Blade. They get the lightning crash, but it doesn't really do anything. Good disengage with the Emperor's Divide from Scout as the rest of LNG are still running away. They haven't used a single ability to engage because they knew they needed them to save their lives.
Exactly. Good disengage from LNG, but it cost them 3 flashes on very important members at that. So Weibo now, with basically a majority of the important summoner spells up, can look for picks and plays whenever they want. Shy!
Oh, the Shy! Has he gone too far
Shy.
forward? No! The Shy was baiting them all as the Nautilus goes down! Not quite going to get killed off by the piercing arrow. And this game's not done just yet. We are still waiting to see how either of these teams can come out of this, but it is Weibo, despite the scoreline on those kills, they are coming out with a gold lead.
Exactly. So Weibo picking up a little bit more gold in these exchanges. Feels really good. Xiaohu's even going to pick up another plate here. That bomb will do the work if the minions don't. And stuff. So Weibo, even though they lose out on those objectives, some of the gold kind of being swung back. So it doesn't feel necessarily the worst. See how things shape up, as now we're going to have a bit of a breathing period, right? No objective on the map for 3 minutes. Great Chains of Corruption land onto Weibo to stop him from getting into smite range. And then the Shy comes in, blows Gala's flash. And then Daisy's knock up here also finds 2 front line members, which kind of makes things continually awkward. Crisp goes back in, then Scout's forced to use the ultimate, lands onto 2, doesn't find the Shy. Shy's able to continue the chase down with the pop seed slow down from Ivern, but again, disengage all very much available. Then the Shy in a bit of, you know, he almost has the stun angle, but why are we looking for it in the first place? Very fortunate that Hung is a little bit unaware of the fact that Xiaohu can kill him off with the Buster Shot. That does keep his top laner alive. Definitely want to be a little bit less risky, perhaps. Game 5, moment like that, you overstep, you're just giving more gold over. It's not necessarily a position you want to be in. Zeka, down a level. I'm not sure how much. You can see the Shy in the bottom left is halfway to level 11. Zeka, will he get level 10 on this wave? It's a fairly big wave, but now it's only comprised of ranged minions, so not the most XP in the world compared to the meaties and the cannons. He's not, so it's actually a fairly sizable lead in the top lane department.
Take a breath. Build ourselves back into this one here, and again, just kind of small little moments that can lead to much bigger advantage. I will say, like, straight up, I think the Shy looks a lot better on the Poppy than he did on the Kazante. Feels a lot more comfortable on the pick. Definitely looks like he's able to kind of take some better fights, as we can see. Taking a fight on. We'll look to see if he can just Spider-Man his way out of this particular one. Was looking to clear out some of his vision for the Dragon 2 minutes, but doesn't lose anything because of it. Just keeps himself nice and healthy, and it's Weibo, honestly, that are kind of the ones feeling more emboldened to go for these trades. They're the ones that are looking for far more aggressive setups.
Yeah, totally agree with you, and you know, you're right. Like, the Shy does look significantly better, and again, I think it comes down to just the individual agency that he can have on this pick, at the very least in the 1v1, right? You can shut down Zeka in the laning phase, and even if it's not, you know, necessarily the Ornn or the Malphite I was calling for more of like team fight agency, you still have a lot in the tank to, you know, disengage on some of these engaging members of LNG, or just put them in awkward positions that they don't want to be in whilst they're trying to find engages of their own. So this feels a lot better for the Shy overall, and he's continuing to just put pressure down on Zeka, as the rest of Weibo can actually come and capitalize on this, to be honest with you, if they really want to. But for now, not going to do that. Stun comes in, you can see Zeka very much pressured, probably going to have to go back to base, maybe even yield the tower.
Yeah, possibly even lose this one. Scout is, though, there to make sure it doesn't go down just yet. Gonna look to see if he can engage there, but again, this is why this Poppy is so valuable. It's honestly a little bit of a strange one to me that they didn't want to try and lock it in for themselves. Maybe worried that the Jacks would go over to the other teams, but actually, never mind. They already had the Jacks, so they knew what they were going for. Either way, it's not the situation we find ourselves in. A TP bot lane, so you can see already LNG saying, look, we want nothing to do with this Rift Herald fight at all. We're going to look to try and prioritize the Dragon in 40 seconds, and that's what we're going to try and put most of our resources into.
Yeah, all right, don't blame them. Last skirmish or two was a little bit awkward, but also because you can maybe put yourself on soul point. Feels pretty good. Oh, very strange looking interaction there between Zika's hop and the pushback from Shy, but won't amount to much. Herald will be picked up. Mid lane wave secured by LNG, so they're going to go dip into the river. Maybe just outright secure this dragon. Let's see what Weibo can do in the means of a contest.
They even want to contest. They could just drop Rift Herald mid and straight away take tower. Maybe even 2 towers, to be honest with you, because they're not really in a position to kind of go for it. The one Gala trying to see if he can get some poke down here. Has the Yomu's Ghostblade finished up. A TP coming in here from Xiaohu. Joining back in, Shirley will be getting her knockback here as Scout TP's in towards this dragon. You can see the different priorities now here for these two teams. Ocean Dragon Soul will be good here for the side of LNG, but was it worth 2 towers? Is it worth potentially 3 towers? Because Shirley's not done.
Oh, I mean, Weibo. 3 towers.
That's huge for Weibo.
LNG were really focused on securing this. Well, I mean, they're at soul point, but just let the base be opened up. 17 minutes into the game, so now, mid lane, if there's ever a fight around the mid lane and there's a wave, Weibo, like, genuinely at 25 minutes could end the game if they get a clean ace and they've got Xiaohu alive and they've got Light alive. So LNG really need to tread carefully when it comes to picking up any kind of fights for the foreseeable future around that area.
It's getting tense, Shimada. It's building, it's bellowing, it's boiling up at the moment, and I'm really not sure who's going to be coming out on top. Only a 1,500 gold lead here for Weibo, but you would argue that's not really going to... It's pretty much equaled, if not, you know, surpassed by the 3 dragons that LNG have been able to accrue for themselves. Crisp walking over here to try and clear out some of this vision. They will get the ultimate down here on top of the Tristana, and they will burn him down. That's going to be, though, a trade back. Mid laner for support, 1 for 1. Weibo doing a good job to make sure there's no high-tempo plays being made by LNG with a numbers advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So trade still comes through on the side of Weibo, which they'll feel happy enough about. LNG, it's nice to see them at the very least be proactive, but what does it really get them? The answer is not that much by the end of the exchange. Just an extra kill. So I feel like we're waiting again for this dragon to spawn up Soul for LNG. I wonder if Weibo are going to go for a Baron like they did in the previous game, you know, 20, 21 minutes. Really keep things a bit on their toes for LNG. Pullback comes in to Xiaohu, but then hung. Awkward positioning. Can't dredge line anywhere. Interrupted by the Steadfast presence as well. Good reactive play from Weibo overall. 2 items now. 2 items there for Gala. Is Scout going Everfrost?
It might be.
Huh, okay.
We'll see. It could also build into the Crown of the Shattered Queen.
Is that the build path of the Crown? Okay, no,
I believe so, yes. Kindle Gem as well as the Crown build. That's where you get the extra 600 HP from.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Let's see what Weibo can do on this siege. They've got a lot of time until Dragon's up. Scout is defending this one quite tenaciously, to be fair.
I don't know if he wants to. He's going to have to try and shift himself away from that one there. There's going to be a Chain of Corruption. Beautifully buffered there by Xiaohu. That's going to mean no extra re-engage available for LNG. So now it's a 2,000 gold. 2 minutes until that dragon spawns. This is where the game, as you mentioned, gets a little bit funky because that Baron is now on the Rift. You have double 80 carries and an Ivern, which makes this a lot easier. Here we go. Grandmaster's Might gets put down here into the bot lane, but the Shy is kind of coaxing him in, saying, come on, Zika, take me on. See if you can fight me, because at the moment it doesn't look like he can.
No, too tanky. All right, again, it's very easy to get Poppy below that like 50% threshold, but as soon as you drop below it, the amount of resistances that she gets really can make the difference in terms of actually finishing her off. Zika very far away from a Black Cleaver and just doesn't have the damage over time just yet available to make that 1v1 work. So, neutralized. Again, Weibo growing the gold lead very, very subtly. If we zoom out, look at where the items actually are. It's Ivern, right? 2 items very cheap, don't forget. Scout has the advantage in the mid lane. Xiaohu Has 1.8k gold though, 1.9k, so should have enough for a second item relatively soon. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And we will look to see likely that Gale Force finished up as that second item. Or actually, he's got, what are those components for? I might be blanking because I'm quite tired and hungry. We've been going for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Navori. Navori.
Yes, Navori.
He's just sitting on the Vamp Scepter. So he's about 200 gold away. He's farming up the wolves. I think after the wolf camp and he can sell the Doran's Blade, he will have the Navori quick blades, and that'll be his 2 items in. So very much even across the board. It's only really, you know, a discrepancy in the jungle roll just because Weiwei's got that cheap second item and first item. LNG.
He's not selling the Dorans. He wants to wait.
Okay, I mean, he can wait if he's got teleport.
Yeah,
not the end of the world. There you go.
Okay, Weibo. This is Ocean Soul. Giving a Jackson a Skarner, that is definitely not ideal. Let's see what you can do now in this particular fight. They pushed in the mid wave, and having those 3 towers down gives them such like leverage of stopping someone like Zika from getting an off-flank flash in. They're going to try and jump straight in on top of Tarzan.
They've got
the Chain of Corruption is good, but Tarzan is dead. Now you're going to see if they can make a little bit more off of this. So when their Scout does get the Emperor's Divide out as they try and burn down Weiwei. If you both lose your jungler, it's not exactly ideal here for Weibo either. So you need to make sure that Weiwei does not die. LNG thinking about maybe still going for this one here.
No, LNG
slowly crushing themselves in. They're going to back themselves away, I think. Apart from one, maybe a last-ditch effort with Gala going for a piercing arrow, that would have been it. But they do lose their jungler, so they give up and forfeit the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, once they lose Tarzan, it's just a bit too hard to contest. They lost the Emperor's Divide as well because Shire's putting down pressure on the back end. And without those tools, it's too hard to make a turnaround happen. We will secure that dragon, stop the soul snowball, and now put us in a position where it's just Baron on the map. Weibo have a gold lead. And again, some of those items starting to come in where there are differences between the laners. As again, Tarzan just a bit too far forward. Doesn't get clipped by the slow of the first trigger seed. Does he get clipped by the second? Yes, but also he's just going to be too far forward.
Crisp is dead.
Crisp is dead. Why is Crisp here? Look how far away he is from the rest of his team. This is a Baron start opportunity for LNG now. Teleport's coming in. They're committing.
It's not a start, it's a commit. They're going to look to try and do this one here. They don't have a lot of vision without the support. They can't put it all down. So now they know with the blue trinket that they have got a little bit of information. They know that Baron has been started. Go down to about 6,000 HP. It's not the fastest in the world. They put Daisy forward. There's a hook down. There's a good keeper's verdict. They traded it back though. Zika needs to get the hell out of this one here. Light cleanses as they look for it. There's an Emperor's Divide as Tarzan makes his right, makes his blood flow. Light's caught between a rock and a hard place and he gets caught up again. Tarzan finishes him off, and that's going to be Xiao who left all on his own. Never mind, it's the Shy left on his own. And he tries to make this one work. He needs to kill off Scout. He needs to do something for his team, but he just hasn't got the damage. Or does he? The Shy is still alive as he gets pushed back all the way to the top tower. He may look for some cooldowns. He's 4 levels ahead of Tarzan. He has got a shield. He may look for another little bit of movement, but he's not quite got enough of it. Whoa. Gala will take him down, but the Baron has been stopped. And look at these waves. It's still favored in Weibo.
Oh my god, what a nail-biting fight. The Shy almost makes a mountain out of a molehill on the back end, but again, LNG find their pick onto Crisp. Immediate flag to start up the Baron, and so much AoE comes through. I'm not even sure what gave them such a positive-looking fight, Weibo that is, but the turnaround was good. The Emperor's Divide and the AoE returned back in kind from Gala and from Scout really helps out in ensuring that this isn't just a clean wipe, because Weibo almost had everything they needed. Engage comes through from Hung, but this knock away from Tarzan removes him from the fight for so long. Zeka goes in, secures Weiwei, but then he's in a very precarious situation. Sweep onto Xiao, who puts him in the Baron range. Tarzan's back over the wall, stops Light. Zeka gets the execution damage, almost finds the stun, but it doesn't matter because Scout and Gala are there. Tarzan then cleans up house alongside Gala, but then it's the Shy Jackshow stacked up. Low HP, killing off this Poppy, remember, so difficult. Finds the buckler. That one isn't denied away. But then can't quite find the angle for Gala into the wall. Maybe if it's like right here, but I'm not sure if it's still on cooldown. It's hard to know without the HUD.
We gotta go back live. We gotta go back live. Yeah. We're going back straight back into the fight. Redemption's coming in. Gala's gonna be able to try and burn down the Shy, who almost gets away. There's an ultimate there. It's a lethality virus. That's why he's not able to kill him just yet. He's still going and finally goes down, but it's a trade of top laners. This is still okay for Weibo. I'm not quite sure how we got into that situation, but I'm gonna tell my observers we need to stop with the replays because there's too much action.
Too much action back to back. You want to see the replays, but at the end of the day, these two teams now are turning this into a bloodbath. Baron, is it being started up? Looks like the answer is no. They'll walk away. Don't want to flip it just yet. No top lane on either side. Scout just picked up a Zhonya's. That could be huge. I wouldn't mind seeing Zika pick up a stopwatch in his own right. They're both being very tenuous about whether or not they want this Baron start, but Dragon spawns in a minute. So are they willing to really get things kicked off here? Light the candle of a Baron start when LNG could very much take control of the bottom side or reconnect on the top side and still contest you on that. Here we go, replay, because there should be enough breathing time. The Shy just face checking. I mean, he's tanky enough. Say face check, there's a control on both sides, so they just want a trade onto Zeka perhaps. And then the Impale comes through. The Shy is very tanky, and like you said, Gala going the Valley build makes it so difficult to actually kill off the Shy. It takes so long. By the time that they do, Zeka's been forced to be in a position where he has to die. Now, Baron started up. LNG know what's going on.
Not the fastest just yet. Now they've got the double-ended carries. Now it will start to dissipate. They're going to try and clear off this vision. They've got plenty of brushes to hide themselves in, so they don't have a full idea of what's going on here. They're going to try and put down the AP on top of Chris, but he is dead. Baron secured, but can Weibo get out with it? Daisy is the unsung hero. 3-man knockup from Daisy was massive, but that could mean Soul going over to LNG as it spawns in 10 seconds.
Surely, right? It's Soul. Oh, Hung doesn't find Shy. Soul on the map. That should just be secured, flat out. And I think Weibo have acknowledged that this one should just be going over. Let's see how they handle this. I mean, there's 3 minutes, right? 2.5 minutes, rather, of Baron time to secure as many structures as you can. But there's only really this top tier 2, which is going to go down straight away. And this bot tier 2, with Soul available now to LNG, the amount of healing at those lower levels should feel massive. Now, one thing I want to highlight, Skarner's in the game. The tax has been paid by Xiaohu and by Light. But that means that they are going to be behind curve on hitting those third items. Specifically, whereas Scout and Gala, a lot more freedom to make it to that point. So LNG have surprisingly a combat, effectively a combat advantage, right, for now. Just because those carries had those items. And Tarzan is never going to stray away from ulting Crisp, Weiwei, or the Shy until they get those QSSs themselves. So LNG, despite the gold deficit, in terms of, what's actually on the map and available, they feel probably actually okay to fight. They can wait for the Baron to drop off for the stats and then really look to force the issue. Zeka, I mentioned before that Baron, I wouldn't have minded seeing him pick up a stopwatch for a backline dive. Has that one now, will likely go towards the Zhonya's third. QSS there, picked up for Crisp, so now it's Weiwei and the Shy who are the real targets for Tarzan to try and drag in and make those frontline fights as awkward as possible for Weibo.
This is such a tense game. Soul was given over. Baron was taken, but I just don't see a real world with the short range of your comp. Well, apart from the Tristana, you aren't going to struggle to kind of take these towers down as quick as you possibly can. So, and the fact that the mid lane was already taken so many, it just feels like you're just not able to kind of get the max out of it. Still not a bad thing. Still 2,000 gold in favor of Weibo from that Baron. We're about 3,000 gold ahead of the curve, but like you mentioned, that 3,000 gold is honestly it's basically the two QSSs. That's basically what the gold is kind of amounting to, as we wait to see kind of who's going to be kind of the priority target for LNG in these next few fights.
Exactly, it's just delaying those spikes from coming in. Light does have the BT, so he has 3 items.
Crisp has a QSS.
Yeah, Crisp does have that QSS as well. So it's about Xiaohu and how close he is to hitting 3 items. But again, it's about that brief delay, right? Gala, how close is he to 4th item? Scout, how close is he to 4th item? Those are the things that are really important. Baron's fading off in 20 seconds. Elder spawns in 4. So there's going to be a brief desync where Elder's on the map before Baron. Or rather, no, Baron will be on the map about 30 seconds before Elder is. We'll see if that's a big enough window to really make these two teams kind of have a bit of a song and dance about whether or not it is worth going to one side of the map or the other as that Baron fades. And there you go, timer comes up, 3 minutes. Elder 3.5 BT for Xiaohu. They're basically at parity for now. Jungle, cheap items available for Weiwei, not the same thing for Tarzan. And then the top side of the map, basically 2 items apiece, not the end of the world. Ashin, I think this is coming down to a Baron Elder flip, unless one of these teams really oversteps their bounds for vision.
You've got decent ways of checking brushes on both sides, to be perfectly honest. The stand shoulders can come in. You've got Daisy to face check as well. I'll say Shy a full item ahead now at this point. That's the Gargoyle Stone Plate, so he is just monstrous. And as we mentioned earlier, it is a lethality Varus. This isn't a Varus that's going to melt through the Shy because he's just gotten, you know, he's looking to kill off the squishies. And look, the fact that he's gotten that is still going to be extremely relevant against Xiaohu and Light, who have gone the QSSs. They have 0 armor, so he's going to destroy them in that regard. But we'll wait to see how it ends up kind of fanning out. LNG Scout picking up a Void Staff as we start to build towards critical mass. Like you said, it looks like we're going to be building up for the next 2 minutes. Just ping-ponging waves. And if you're Zika, you would absolutely adore to get that Zhonya's online before the next fight. Or honestly, maybe even forego it because you know there's not a fight happening for 2 minutes. Maybe you can go for a Spear of Shojin or something.
Yeah, if he stacks up enough gold, like, there's no reason to believe he wouldn't necessarily do that, right? But Zhonya's as well. Don't forget, Jax has basically AP ratios on every ability, so
true.
Zhonya's does just flat out make him deal more damage. Let's see, he's going back to base. Tarzan as well, but I doubt he's going to have a full item. Oh, that's Hung, rather. But Tarzan was also basing. Just goes for the Iron Elixir. Zhonya's was secured by Zeka, so it is just this building up of golden resources. Oh, man.
Hello.
What a view.
What a view.
Piece on the side of the rift. There's actually a face on the alcove. I've never seen that before.
I have absolutely never noticed that. Literally, as soon as you said it, there's a little face there. It's, wait to see how it ends up kind of working out. I mean, the teams know. We are building towards one last big fight. You would love to have level 16 here on Tagala, just to match up with Light with that Lightning Crash. Having that extra little bit of duration and cooldown onto that Chain of Corruption can be absolutely massive as we go later and later into this game. Now, 1 minute till Elder, 30 seconds till Baron. Everyone's kind of topped themselves up and got their summoners right back online. There's a stopwatch available for Weiwei. Plenty of QSSs as well. And as you mentioned as well, those elixirs of iron has already been consumed here by Tarzan. And there is one in the back pocket for Crisp should he get caught out.
Exactly. Run is as powerful as they can be right now. They spent the gold. LNG, remember, technical combat advantage. QSSs have denied those third items from coming in, or the fourth items from coming in from Weibo, and the Ocean Soul as well means just all that additional healing. Baron on startup. How fast can they burst it? Not fast enough before Weibo can get here. Maybe Zucker can make things awkward about this.
It's gone! It's gone! He's not going to be able to get in time. That's Baron confirmed. Now can they get out with their lives? That is the question. Steadfast Presence stops Hong from getting himself out with the dredge line, but do they want this fight? Baron goes in, the flash in. They're going to try and burn down the Shy. Get rid of the tank, but the redemption keeps him going. He's still not dead. Ignite finally ticks down. The Shy has finally fallen. Now the rest of Weibo need to run away. Crisp is not dead yet, but they're going to reset. Baron might be the call just to run into this mid lane. You've got this massively powerful buff, but do they look for the Elder flip instead?
They want Elder. I think they want Elder more just because they know if they can get the Elder, they can end the game. They can still win the fight 4v5. Even if they lose the Elder, as long as they poke out enough members. It's just the fact they have no ultimates is so scary. Re-engage. Zeka.
Re-engage. Zeka! He found himself on top of Xiaohu and Light, who have to try and immediately disengage against himself over the lane. He carries. Zeka again denies everything. Zeka in playoffs is a different beast. And now we're going to see them TPing towards the mid lane as Scout tries to get this one going for themselves. They see the end in sight.
They've got 40 seconds on Light and Xiaohu. They've got a wave in the mid lane coming with the Baron buff. This might be enough time. Maybe if the Shy Weiwei and Crisp can try and get this wave away from the towers, it's enough. We'll see, but LNG off the back of back-to-back counter-strikes from Zeka might have just put them in the top 4.
We need a minimum of 3-man keeper's verdict from the Shy in order to keep this one going. They will have Daisy, so it's technically a 4v1. That's good. You got rid of the Varus. Now the Shy can move forward a little bit more confidently. They can't end. I don't think they can end. And they're taking too much damage now. The Shy has kept it. The keeper of the base shall not be denied.
They have to get to Elder.
And they have to go to Elder. But I don't know if they can take it, though. I don't think they have the time.
I don't know. I mean, they've got...
It's risky.
They've got... So this is the thing. When you have more dragons, it takes longer. Weiwei is going to get there. The Gust Walker, the Blue Smite as well is going to get him closer to this dragon. Hung failed the Hex Flash. He's going to stay over the wall.
Flash on Weiwei. He has
I mean, there's no flash. It should be good. It should be good for LNG.
He's gone wide. No, he doesn't go for it. I thought he was going to jump in. He decides the better of it. They just want to try and relax, build themselves back up. Weibo not dead yet, but my lord, are LNG starting to nail them into the coffin.
Yeah. It's everything but the game end right now. Elder should be enough. LNG, they just have to force. They have to force whilst they have this buff. And surely it's enough to win a game. Scout still has flash, but on the opposite side, Xiaohu, Light, Weiwei, the Shy, no one on Weibo has flash available, so they should just be able to pretty much hit Hung's ultimate and find the target that comes to mind immediately. LNG with a wave, with Elder Dragon, have everything they need to push forward into Weibo's base. Look to end this game.
15 seconds on Baron. That should be gone before they reach the inhibitors, or excuse me, the Nexus turrets. Here we go. There's going to be the ultimate. It lands onto one, technically two, but Hung was able to go for it. Scout is no longer part of this fight. The redemption comes in to keep everyone alive. The Shy is just so tanky. Zika tries to go in, but he gets buster shotted right back out. They don't have a wave. They can't end.
It's coming. It's on its way. It's on its way. And the resets are going to come through from Weibo. So they're actually resetting the health bars. Ocean Soul will help heal up some of these lower members of LNG. Next super wave is here. They have to try and hit the tower, but there's so little window to do it. Dredgeline maybe.
The brushes are just making this so hard. Weibo are able to distract them with minions. I don't think they can do it. They have a minute left with this Elder, but I don't think they can win.
There's no waves. There's no waves on the side lane either, so this Elder's been defended. Maybe a return around here, Hung. Oh, he's not going to find the Shy. They're trying again. They want to force us. They have it. 45 seconds, round 3.
Round 3, let's fight. 40 seconds on the Elder. LNG, you are knocking on the door of a top 4 as they look to try and make this one work. The Shy goes in. The Shy's getting burnt down, and the Shy's not dead just yet. They've killed Hung. It's a 1-for-1 trade that's still good for Weibo. They've got themselves the bases. They look to try and make this one work. Again, the minions have died. They can't end the game.
Oh, what's going on? I mean, they're still waiting. They've got 15 seconds on the buff, but surely Weibo just repeat what they've been doing, but with no Shy, maybe tanking is a little bit more difficult. 10 seconds on the Elder.
10 seconds, they're looking for it. Shurima, oh, they found it! It's now on to light though. These health bars are so damn low, but Zika's got himself the Dragon's War, and that's it. It's over. Weibo are out. LNG are in.
LNG make the top 4 happen, and what an explosive Game 5 to make it happen in. As close as it could have been. Elder times out as the Nexus dies, and a Weibo not able to make the stall defense happen as they had been for 2 whole minutes against the buff. And LNG, as it had been for so many times throughout this series, stack up the Dragons, and that is the difference maker in this Game 5.
What a way to end this series. Tit for tat, punch for punch. And Weibo, it's bittersweet, but you can hold your heads up high. I don't think anyone was expecting to be this competitive. But wow, LNG. Well played, and honestly, I was starting to get worried. I was starting to think it wasn't to be. The Shy starts popping off. You almost can't end with a Baron and an Elder buff. They are literally designed to help you end the game. They just about do it, and yeah, you can see the fans. They knew how bloody close it was, because that was an ordeal. That was a marathon for them to come out and get themselves in the top 4.
That was something.